Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Math Vibes Tutoring. Today we're going to talk about the distance formula. And you'll see this formula periodically throughout your math career, not just in one class, but in several classes. So it's something that you definitely want to have some knowledge and some experience in working with. Okay, so the distance formula is what we use when we are trying to find you got it, the distance between 2 points. Okay, trying to find the distance between 2 points or two ordered pairs. Okay, now if you're given two ordered pairs, let's just say we have x1, y1 is one pair, and then x2, y2, that's your other pair. So if we're trying to find the actual formula for the distance, this is the formula that we use. Okay, we're going to take the square root of, okay, and this is going to be the differences of your x's plus the differences of your y's. Okay? So the differences of your x's squared plus the differences of your y's squared. And we take the square root of that. That is your distance formula given that you have 2 points. Okay? So when we try to find the distance between the 2 points, all we do would be just to substitute the point values or those coordinates into this distance formula and then to evaluate. Okay? So we're going to do a few problems and we're going to use this formula every single time, just trying to find the distance between the 2 points. Look at this problem right here. So it says find the distance between the pair of points, and we have P, that's 1 point, and that is 2, -1. And we have Q, that's another point, and that is 10, -7. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, since we're trying to find the distance, is, of course, go ahead and write down our formula. So the difference of our x's squared plus the difference of our y's squared. Okay, so let's label this. This is our first point, so this is our x1, y1. This is our second point, this q, so that is x2, y2. Okay, so let's go ahead and substitute these values in. Okay, so x2 minus x1. So this is 10 minus 2. Okay, now I'll put that in parentheses. You really didn't have to put them in parentheses right here. Okay, if you want to just put 10 minus 2, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to square that. And then plus, okay, now we're going to do our y's. So y2 minus y1, so that is -7 minus -1. Okay, now I did put this one in parentheses right here just because it was that negative stuff. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and clean this up a bit. So 10 minus 2 squared. Well, 10 minus 2 is 8, and we're going to square that. Okay, and then we have in this next parentheses, -7 minus -1 squared. So let's talk about what -7 minus -1 would be. That's -7 plus 1, which would be -6 squared. Okay, so let's keep on going here. So 8 squared is 64, -6 squared is 36. Okay, so we are looking at the square root of 100 because 64 plus 36 is 100. Now, of course, we're not going to leave that distance as the square root of 100 because we know what that is. So the distance between P and Q would be 10 units. Okay? Because the square root of 100 is 10. So we take this formula and we insert or just substitute the points that's inside of this formula and then evaluate. Okay, let's do one more. Same instructions, but this time we're trying to find the distance between the coordinate points A and B. A is -3, and B is 713. So we start the exact same way. Let's write down this distance formula. So the square root of the difference of your x's squared plus the difference of your y's squared. Okay, so let's label A as x1, y1, and let's label B as x2, y2. Okay? So x2 minus x1. So this is 7 minus negative 3. Okay, I'm going to square that. And then y2 minus y1. So that will be 13 minus 1. Okay, so I'm just substituting the values in that we've already established. Okay, so let's talk this through right here. So 7 minus negative 3 squared. So 7 minus negative 3 is really 7 plus 3. That's 10. So this is 10 squared. Okay, and then 13 minus 1 is 12. So that's going to be 12 squared. Okay, so we got the square root, same thing, of 100 because that's what 10 is, 10 squared is. And then I have 144 because that's what 12 squared is. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and add those together. 100 plus 144 is 244. Okay, now depending on where you are in your classes and which class you're in, some teachers at this moment will want you to simplify this number, this 244, simplify it into simplest radical form. Okay, so some teachers will do that. And then other teachers would rather you just go ahead and leave it as a decimal. In fact, most textbooks, when you see this unit, they'll tell you to round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to round to the nearest tenth. So I would take my calculator and I would round 244, take the square root of that, excuse me, and round that to the nearest tenth. Okay, and so if I round to the nearest tenth, it is 15.6. Okay, but of course you want to make sure that you are following your teacher's instructions. But most teachers in this specific unit will ask you to round to the nearest tenth. Okay. All right, so that was the distance formula. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Any other inquiries, go ahead and be sure to email me at mathvibestutoring@gmail.com. Have a great night. Bye-bye.